Good morning. Good morning. I've hit the record button. That means we're ready to go today. Did I check the microphone? Yes, the microphone's good. Um, how are you this morning? It's Wednesday, 2/23/22. A little bit living the high life this morning. I had two caramels before the broadcast. Not the best thing. Living dangerously. Are you know, kind of causing some problems here. Um, but hey, that's the way it is. Also, one of the dumbest things this is who I am. I decided to adjust the camera settings before I went on. Before I went on. Now, why? I don't know. Because I was tired of I feel like I have a very nice camera. I have a Sony A7, I think it is, or an A5. I don't know, A5. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how they get an A out of the little fish mark, but whatever. Alpha, that's what it. I don't know. Anyway, I have this nice camera, and I'm not a camera snob by any of the stretch of the imagination. Okay, I just want it to work, and there are probably a couple thousand settings in there, and the combination's probably going in the millions. And I don't know. And I don't want to learn all million settings and what they do. I mean, I just want it to work. So it has these features, okay? And they're like automatic features. They're designed for to make things easier on you. And so I haven't been using, like a lot of people online say, well, don't use the auto features because you can do a better job than the camera can. Well, then why did I buy an expensive camera? It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I pressed some buttons. One of them, like, here's an odd one. If you're recording or if you're outputting in 4K, you have to use a memory card. Doesn't make any sense. I would have thought it'd be easier for it to just output it in 4K and be done with it, but no. And I don't like the way my picture is for the camera that I have, and I don't know if it's the graphics card, but today is like I made some steps forward with my camera. Is it better to you? I don't know. But whenever I watch my stuff, it seems like kind of cloudy. But I don't know if I'm making that up because you know how you don't like to see yourself in pictures, or at least a lot of people don't. I don't know. I don't particularly like to see myself in pictures, but I don't know. There's these things. I don't know how do I put this in ways that. Okay, so you'd think that the best time to mess with something is like after the show, and it is. But I get motivated to get something done, and it's like, go do it. And when I was younger, like in my 20s, I would start working on projects at 11:30 midnight, and then it's probably not the best time to do a project as far as you're gonna have to go to sleep at some point. You're tired, and like if you're doing something construction-y with sharp objects, if you have to go to the hospital at midnight, that's not a good situation. So anyway, let me know what you think about the camera. I will get it figured out. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I made an effort today, and hopefully it's better. Why in the world would you not be able to send out 4K? It doesn't make any sense. It would be without the memory card. I don't even have a memory card in there, I don't think. No, I don't have a memory card in there. I don't even know where they are. Which is not good. Not good. So anyway, down the road, will I get a different camera? It's just a really nice camera for me that I don't need. I don't know. I'm getting texted during my live stream, and I'm trying to complain about my camera. But anyway, so one of the things I'd like to do, because I have all this time, is, go do driving tours. Well, my camera's too big for a driving tour. I tried it and it's like, ugh, doesn't look good. Would someone watch that on YouTube? I don't know. People don't watch my stuff on YouTube as it is. I don't know that a camera tour is going to change things. But anyway, do I have big plans for all this stuff? Yes. Is it going to happen? I don't know. So, we're in a weird spot. Let me check this. I'm going to check this text while we're on the live stream. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So Wednesday. What was yesterday like? I was just working. There's certain days if I get a chance to get stuff cleaned up around the office, and I don't mean cleaned up physically because my office is a mess. If I get in fact, like from now on, okay, turn that over. All right, not allowed to. New rule: not allowed to look at my phones during live stream. Doesn't matter what's happening. Even if there's an offer that comes in, even if some agent needs to get in touch, no more. So anyway, I think I was working until about 9 last night. You say, "Oh, poor you, working until 9." No, I don't mean it that way. I just kept going and going and going and going, and I did get to the point where I was pretty happy with yesterday. But like my office is a mess, and I don't ever get time to clean it. And you say, "Well, you don't make time." Well, okay, fine, be that way. I'm working all the time. It's the content creation game takes a lot of time, and just between you and me, since we're the only ones here, I think if I got a different graphics card, or if I got a faster computer, it would render stuff faster, which means I could edit stuff faster. I mean, when I do a podcast, when I render that thing, that takes an hour, and then it takes another maybe 20 minutes to upload it. And I've got a fast internet connection. It's just I'm putting through so much data, but it takes time, and it's like I would not be able to fix the upload time. I'm already as fast as I can go. I'm on the what's that stuff called? Fiber optic. I mean, I'm there. That's why we very seldom ever having problems with live streaming, because I can have everybody in the house on 4K and still not have an issue. But the computer is dicey, and I know it is, but I don't like. Let's talk about my business philosophies just for a moment. I always believe that, like, if you up to a certain extent, like, your business should pay for what you do. Like so if I want a new computer, the income from the business should pay for that computer, right? Like, or if I'm saying, I'm doing it YouTube because I'm trying to make money YouTube, which if I'm trying to make money YouTube, I'm doing a terrible job. That's just the way it is. But I should take the money earned from YouTube to pay for a computer. Well, I don't think I'm going to be monetized before my computer dies. And then what? So you know how it makes, like, everything makes sense? Like, everything seems like it's a good idea, and then when you actually, need to rely on that logic or philosophy, it fails. Kind of the story of my life. Let's get into stuff today. I don't have many articles. I don't have a lot going on. This is going to be a dicey proposition by me, but I feel like I'm getting to be kind of an expert at this, talking for an hour thing. So let's see how it goes. The first article, this is on, this is the Google search trends, and this one appeared in my email, but it didn't appear when I looked at the Google search trends today. So, it changes throughout the day, and, let's just go with what we have here. All right, here we go. Can you see that? Did you see this story yesterday? Massive bear named Hank the Tank on the run from California police. Really? And is that Hank? That is Hank the Tank. Massive black bear named Hank the Tank is wanted by California police for breaking into dozens of homes in a Lake Tahoe neighborhood since last summer. The bear burglar weighs 500 pounds, much more than the average bear, and appears to have skipped hibernation in winter due to a constant food supply. Well, that's kind of interesting. He's so fat that he doesn't need to hibernate. Now, does that apply to our groundhog situation that we talked about? I don't know if you remember Milltown Mel, who ate it before Groundhog Day, and they couldn't get a new Groundhog Day in time because he died, and apparently they were all hibernating. So, I don't know. It says authorities say euthanasia may be necessary because the wild animal has grown so comfortable around humans. Why would you have to kill the bear? Like, even if he is comfortable around humans, just deal with it. Like, what's wrong with that? And they say, oh, well, and look, I don't understand all these complexities, but you got a bear breaking into houses. So far, he hasn't killed anybody, that's the important thing. So he's not taking any human life. He's eating some burritos. He's, having some Doritos. Just maybe having a Coke or a Pepsi. He's just living his life. And now you're going to go kill him because he's comfortable around humans. Now, this seems to be dumb. Like now that he's friendly with humans, are we like he's living, he's doing fine. So we need to kill the bear because he's comfortable around humans. That doesn't make any sense. They say wildlife groups are calling for him to be relocated to a sanctuary. I don't care where they put him, just don't kill the bear. Like you say, well, John, would you take care of Hank the Tank? No, but we give money to all kinds of stupid things. There's got to be money somewhere to take care of a bear that is comfortable around humans. I mean, what you wouldn't want is a bear that's not comfortable around humans. They would kill you. It's very, 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 very confusing. It says Hank earned his nickname by hungrily barging his way into locked and occupied homes. It's learned to use its size and strength to force its way into homes, says California Department of Fish and Wildlife spokesman. It'll barge through garage doors. It'll barge through front doors. It'll go through windows. I think that's great. What's wrong with that? It says also crowned King Henry in the press. I like Hank the Tank better. Hank is readily identifiable due to his exceptionally large size and dark coat with lighter muzzle. When I see that thing, I'm like, oh my God, that is a huge bear. Normal, non-lethal methods of bear hazing. I don't know what that means. Such as beanbag munitions, sirens, and dry-firing police tasers, which makes a clicky-clack noise the bears hate, have not been successful in driving Hank away. Well, why are we driving him away? He just wants to hang out. It says the Bear League, a local wildlife advocacy group, says Hank got to be his size due to his raging appetite for human food. So there's a Bear League, a local wildlife advocacy group, okay? And they say they have called for Hank to be trapped and sent to a sanctuary instead of killed, and for Lake Tahoe residents to be more vigilant about securing their food in rubbish. All right, so let's try to decompress this statement. Hank got to be his size due to his raging appetite for human food. So I don't have a problem with that. I like human food. It's pretty good. They have called for Hank to be trapped and sent to a sanctuary instead of killed. Well, why are we killing the bear? And then this part here is a little, and for Lake Tahoe residents to be more vigilant about securing their food and rubbish. Okay. This bear is busting through garage doors, busting through doors, busting through windows, and you're going to blame the residents for leaving food out. No, you need to blame the bear. No offense. Bear's breaking through things. See what I'm saying? It's the bear. Stop pointing the finger at the victim. He's not subsisting on a diet of ants and berries like a lot of wild bears do. Now look, like if you're a bear and you got ants, like you're 300, how many ants would you have to eat before you feel like full? How many berries are even out there? In Tahoe, there's a year-round access to high-caloric food, whether we're talking about leftover pizza or ice cream and just trash. It's easier to find that kind of food than work for hours to remove grubs from a dead log. Absolutely. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. Why would you mess around with ants and grubs when you can just have some pizza or ice cream? Officials have received more than 150 calls about Hank. That's impressive. He's broken into nearly 40 homes, sometimes causing severe damage in just the last 6 months. The guy's hungry. Officials have received... Oh, I'm sorry. I've been in town 40 years, and I've been locking my doors recently, and I've never done that, said Tim Johnson after the latest break-in by Hank on Friday night. The more we don't feed him, the more this isn't going to be the case. So how... again, Hank the Tank is breaking into homes to eat. He's breaking in, like literally breaking down doors, windows, and garage doors. And this man and everyone seems to want to blame us. It's not us. It's not the humans that are the bad person here. It's Hank. Does Hank deserve to die for his transgressions? No. No. But I mean, think about this. Like, what if we used a different animal? Like, let's say a squirrel. Say the normal squirrel's like a pound. And then this particular squirrel ate food and was like 12 pounds. Would you try to kill the squirrel? No, it'd be kind of like, whoa, that's a big fat squirrel. Yeah. So you say, well, squirrels can't kill you, but big bears can. Well, I agree with that. But I mean, I think there's a degree of fat shaming going on here with the bear, and I don't think that's right. I've been told that that's not appropriate. And look, I mean, we've gotten to the point where like we can do this. We can put Hank somewhere. I mean, just put him in. I mean, and I don't get mad at me, but put him in like a big cage, like a big one, like maybe an acre. where he can just roam around and do his bear things, and then feed him every day. And like if he dies of diabetes or something, it's okay. I mean, it's better than killing the bear. Why does the bear have to die? Because he's not, and then let's look at that quote one more time. Let's look at this quote. The more we don't feed him, the more this isn't going to be the case. Well, why don't you just not live in Lake Tahoe? Why don't we have no houses in Lake Tahoe? Because it's making the bears fat. It just goes on and on and on. So for me, like, I'm proud of Hank the Tank. I mean, he's doing something. It's scary and dangerous, but he's doing something. And I don't even know how you would trap a bear. I hope that you don't use those claw trap things. Those are terrible. But I mean, he's a big bear. I mean, I can see that in the picture. He's a good size. But this whole thing about, well, we'll just have to shoot the bear because he's gotten used to humans. No. You don't have to shoot the bear because he's gotten used to humans. Remember that monkey or gorilla that could do sign language? I'm pretty sure that gorilla got used to people and nobody got mad. If they did, their voices were drowned out by the people that didn't care. Do bears do sign language? I mean, can we maybe since he's used to us, maybe we could talk to the bear, not in soothing tones, but maybe with sign language. I don't know if a bear has. I don't know if it has a paw, but I don't know if it has fingers. There's a lot I don't know about this topic, and as we go on, you'll be stunned at my ignorance. But I live it every day. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do with Hank. I mean, I hope there's a peaceful resolution of this. I'm not big on killing anything, now if the thing came at me, it's on, right? Or it's you or me. Him being 500 pounds, me being 44, a little overweight. I mean, I'm probably rocking 220 right now, so twice as heavy as me. I don't know that my chances are very good. They say play dead. Like if a bear comes at you, you're supposed to play dead. I kind of want to run away. And they say, well, that's no good because the bear will run after you. Well, I don't know it's how are you going to go out? Do you want to go out as the guy that played dead and then the bear just ate you? Or do you want to go out just running away? Charging the bear doesn't seem like a good idea. That definitely doesn't seem like a good idea. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at on Hank the Tank. It's a sad story, but whatever. What are you going to do? So now let's get on to another story. And you saw me send the window over. This got 100,000 searches yesterday, maybe 200,000. Let me look. 200,000 searches? Yeah, 200,000 searches yesterday on Google. Now, this is a sporting article. And as you know, sporting articles do well in search. So, I don't know what we're to make of this. But it's hard to get this in line. So yeah, this is let's just go through the article first, huh? Say taking the mic or Mick, I don't know. That doesn't seem like it's appropriate to say Mick. But anyway, what did Phil Mickelson say about the Saudi Golf League? This is from this morning. Phil Mickelson is one of the world's most decorated golfers. He's won 45 events in the PGA Tour, 6 major championships, 3 Masters titles, 2 PGA championships, and 1 Open championship. But his recent comments on the new Saudi Golf League have sparked a lot of controversy among fellow players and fans, including Rory McIlroy. What did Mickelson say? Mickelson believes that the funding produced by the Saudi Golf League will help levitate the sport, and the money can be used to reshape the nature of the PGA Tour. The American said they're scary to get involved with. We know they killed Khashoggi and they have a terrible record on human rights. They execute people there for being gay. Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. They've been able to get by with this manipulative, coercive, strong-arm tactics because we, the players, had no recourse. And the Saudi money has finally given us that leverage. Now, that's what he said. Now, if you talk about China this way, how would that go? Not very well. I mean, to cloak anything in human rights violations. I mean, my own belief is that Canada right now, they have no human rights. I mean, to adopt these emergency powers for a bunch of truck drivers that honk their horns. I mean, seriously. So, I mean, that's just north of the border. So, I don't see where the bad statement is here. Now, I don't. But again, I'm 44 and I'm in the suburbs, and I mean, if you don't think, like, do you not realize that Saudis have like all this weird stuff? Like, they have a drag racing team in the United States, like more than one. I mean, anyway, it says, however, having received backlash from golf pro colleagues, Mickelson has made a massive U-turn on his controversial comments and announced he is taking a break from the sport. And then okay. So it says, in an apology published across his social media, Mickelson stated, I used words I sincerely regret and do not reflect my true feelings or intentions. I don't know what words he used. Like, if these are the words that he used, I don't see where. Who did he offend? The Saudis? I mean, I might be missing something. It says, I was reckless. I offended people, and I am deeply sorry for my choice of words. I am beyond disappointed and will make every effort to self-reflect and learn from this. I don't even know what he did wrong. Are you, excuse me. Are you not allowed to talk to Saudi Arabia in a positive light? Like, is that the rule? Like the unpublished rule? I mean, I just don't know. I didn't get the memo. He said, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life and many with the public. My intent was never to hurt anyone. I'm sorry for the people I've negatively impacted. Who did you negatively impact? The Saudis? You said mean things about them. Mickelson would go on to mention that the pressures and stress have forced him into taking some time out from golf. What in the world? Is golf even going on during this time of the year? I don't even know. What did Rory McIlroy say? Now, Rory McIlroy, my understanding is he's a great golfer, youngster. McIlroy was least impressed with Mickelson's belief on the Saudi Golf League, painting the American as naive, selfish, egotistical, and ignorant. Now, that's offensive for his comments in favor of the Saudi-backed plan. The MBE said, I don't want to kick someone while he's down, obviously, but I'm going to. But I thought Mickelson's comments were naive, selfish, egotistical, and ignorance. A lot of words to describe that interaction he had. It was just very surprising, disappointing set. I'm sure he's sitting at home sort of rethinking his position and where he goes from there. What in the world? I mean, like, look, I'm all for golfers telling each other they're idiots. I have no problem with that. And I don't know that I understand golf very well. And here's a snapshot of why I don't think I understand golf very well. For years, Tiger Woods was sponsored by Buick. Tiger Woods isn't driving a Buick, okay? Like, no one believes that. No one has ever believed that. Okay? If you send me a picture of Tiger Woods in a Buick, it's a Buick that somebody paid him to sit in. It is not, he's not going to the, he's not like, hey, I'm a multi-million-dollar golfer, and you know what? I'd really like to buy a Buick LaCrosse. I mean, it was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous, and yet people put up with it. Now, it says, what is the Saudi Golf League? Led by Australian pro golfer Greg Norman, the Saudi Golf League is rumored to see 48 players compete in direction to the PDGA Tour. I don't even know what that means. The Saudi-backed plan began to surface towards the end of 2019, and Mickelson revealed that contacting pretty much every player in the top 100 would be part of the breakaway strategy. Huge financial incentives from the wealthy backers would be used to tempt the best players to distance themselves from the current model. I don't know what the current model is. It seems like they all just play for the PGA Tour. But similar to McIlroy, and if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. I haven't watched golf in a long time. A number of pro golfers have pledged their allegiance to the PGA Tour, which includes Tiger Woods, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, John Rahm, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, and most recently Bryson DeChambeau. There's a lot going on here that's got nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. That's my opinion. Because, look, if you, I mean, this is just me. I hit the wrong button there. Caused some issues. If you really believe that, well, like the PGA Tour is the established player, right? Do you think that the PGA Tour isn't taking notes of who's going to go into the different league? Like, this is all about a monopoly. And it's all about you stay in line. Mickelson stepped out of line. You have to go with the official narrative of the PGA Tour. If you don't go with that official narrative, you can't be anybody. The PGA Tour made you, therefore you're not allowed to speak against it. It's kind of like a mob. And all these things are. Every sporting league is a mob, okay, in the United States, because there's no competition. And anytime there's ever been competition, it's been crushed. And it's been crushed by not just, it's been crushed by the leagues. They plant stories about, the referees in the other league are terrible, or they'll have the least, they won't have any good talent in the like, look at the XFL. Every 10 years it comes up and then disappears. So, my thing is, how do I put it? We always seem to have only one thing. There can only be one NFL. We can't have two. There can only be one PGA Tour. We can't have two. There can only be one National Hot Rod Association. Can't have two. And so, to me, the players that are speaking out against Phil Mickelson's comments are corporate shills, which it's okay. And then, Mickelson loses a sponsor like KPMG. Do you realize that there's nobody that's like a small businessman that cares about KPMG? I mean, it's like they're not looking for my business. They don't. I mean, it would take about 25 seconds to do my tax return, my accounting. So I get it. I get it. But to me, it feels like they had somebody coming for old Phil. They were just waiting in the weeds to get their moment out there where they could just whack him. They knew he was going to speak out, and they used the Saudis' history of human rights abuses to do it. You won't hear that about China. In fact, oftentimes what you'll see with companies like Nike, they will push an agenda in the United States that is absolutely like, hey, look at this. Look at these civil rights abuses in the United States. Don't pay attention to what we do in the rest of the world. Don't do that. As soon as the conversation moves to Nike and its practices, they turn that shit around and come right at you. So, no one's perfect, okay? No one's perfect. I know what the guy was saying. He was saying, look, if we had some competition, maybe we'd get paid more. Okay, maybe we get paid more. And now that's selfish. That's not selfish. And by the way, what's wrong with being selfish? Really? I mean, there's all these people that want to not be selfish, but those are the people that take the most advantage of you. I've just noticed that. That's something I've noticed in my life. Maybe it's been different for you. It's this idea, comply. Good Lord. So, my phone's just blowing up this morning. Anyway, am I wrong? Can you explain to me the reason? Like, again, I'm not in the golf world. Can you explain to me what he did wrong? You're not allowed to say a word. Just keep your mouth shut. Say nothing. Do the Bill Belichick. Just don't say a word. Don't. And I mean, maybe that's the best way to treat the press in this case. Like, well, I'm not going to talk. And then they ask why. I say, well, anything I say, you're going to throw in my face, and you're going to gin up a bunch of people to be mad at me. It's just not worth it. Now, that's the problem with being that athlete, though. You have to have this personality, and you have to have this personality that it's perceived that people will buy things because of you. So there's this perception that people would buy Buicks because Tiger Woods, was sponsored by Buick. The idea like, oh, look at Tiger's personality. Isn't that great? It could have been terrible, and it wouldn't have mattered because they wanted to understand. Good golfer first, cultivate reputation and star power second. You got to have the talent first, okay? And the same thing with Mickelson. I mean, the guy's not a bad golfer, right? But then you need to cultivate that personality. And when you cultivate that personality, be careful what you wish for. It's just a bizarre thing. And honestly, I feel like we should look at athletes as like incorporated corporations. Like, incorporated corporations make no sense, but they should be looked at as corporations and not humans at this point. And I don't mean like less than human. I just mean understand that this guy, like, these people make millions of dollars a year hawking products. Okay. I think they both have like more than $100 million of net worth. Okay. They're not living in the same world that you and I are living in. Okay. They don't do anything without consulting their tax advisor. Okay. They're just not, they're so far out. Like, what do you aspire to be that way? Is that how this goes? You aspire to be a good golfer and, sponsor Buicks or be sponsored by Buick? I don't know. That's not where I want to be. It's very confusing. I just remember now, 38 minutes in, that I screwed up the embed feature in my settings. I was supposed to fix that. I was so busy fixing my camera and doing that poorly that I didn't do that setting. Anyway, that's where I'm at on the Mickelson thing. If you're mad at me, you can put it, obviously we're going to not have anybody in the chat today because that seems to be difficult. So, you can put a comment in later that I'm wrong. I mean, it's all in how you frame things, I believe. I mean, no one's talking about the war in Yemen. It happened. Anyway. I don't know. I don't get it. Let's look at homes in Plano, Texas. Now, Plano, Texas, there's the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and Plano, Texas is to the northeast. I know this only because I looked it up online, this morning before we did our broadcast. I've not looked at the houses. It looks like the second one in the line is a new construction, so I'm not going to pay any attention to it. We got EB Holiday has one. Biggs Freeman Sotheby's has another, and eXp Realty has the other one that we're going to look at. So that's 3. Nobody seems to have an advantage right now. Let's look at this house. $10 million, 17,000 square feet, 11-car garage, 3.32 acre lot, 40 pictures. So far, just singing my language. Speaking my language. That doesn't make any sense, singing my language. Property history. Property was listed in 2021 in June, the day before my birthday. And they changed the price by raising it. That's funny. That's funny. It didn't sell, and so they raised the price. You don't get that in where I'm at in my space. If you didn't sell something, it's because it was too expensive. Property is being sold furnished. Oh, that's nice. Resort-style living built and designed by Lloyd Lumpkins. Authentic clay roof, which makes no sense. Drought-tolerant grass. Gated residence on 3.3 acres. Interior of the home gives you full gathering experience while bringing a sense of tranquility and uniqueness to each room. Walnut cabinets, patterned wood flooring, and distinctive chandeliers fill this home. Unique stone counters, modern touches, and endless views of the grounds. Luxurious master with heated floors and bath. Guest suite down. Additional 3 large bedrooms and up. Additional 3 large bedrooms up and guest apartment. Elevator! Exclamation point. Hopefully we'll see a picture. Backyard paradise with multiple cabana areas and kitchens, tennis court, and large yard. Over 70,000 gallon pool in immense parking and garage space with lifts. I mean, I like it. I really do. Let's look. So there it is from the sky. There it is right there. Now we've walked in. There's the door. I've always thought that thing's kind of weird. I don't know what it's called. Let me just make sure we're doing things. Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure that the pictures, that you could see the pictures and I could see the pictures. Okay. Well, that must be the walnut. That's something. I don't know if this design theme is supposed to be like running through the house. But it is. You know, and I mean, I'm not in there, but for the house this size, this kitchen is not that big. And it's not a complaint, but it's like you can only do so much in a kitchen. You can only make it so big before it looks kind of weird. I mean, the furniture stays, everyone. Look at that. They've got a better theater room than I do, but my house isn't $10 million. I would like this to be a sport court. I'm not, I mean, I love the word. There's that outdoor space that's so important. If this is the outdoor space that I'm thinking, like that is its own house. I would never even think to build such a structure, but that's really cool. I think that's like that's its own structure next to the tennis court. There's another one right next to the pool. It's a massive space, right? So anyway, well, that was nice. That was one. Let's look at this one. Now, obviously, you go from a $10 million house to a $3.3 million house. It's going to be a letdown. But this is 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths for 5,000 square feet on less than a half-acre lot. 47 pictures, 32 days on the market, built in 2018, 3-car garage. Property history, listed in January of 2022. Property details, small, there's not much. Let's read it. Extraordinary custom home model located in the desirable gated and Normandy estates. Sophisticated open concept. It's not very sophisticated, let's be honest. Plan connects the dramatic living areas with the oversized covered patios and enjoy beautiful views of the extreme landscape gardens and fountains. Luxurious finishes and details are featured throughout the home, designed for intimate occasions and grand entertaining. Okay. It is open. Like, I mean, look at that space between the kitchen and this room here. For some reason, like, I don't mind white walls or off-white walls, but they just don't show up very good in pictures, you know, and there's no contrast. And I'm not saying you should go paint your walls yellow or anything like that. It's very interesting how the color just doesn't work on this in the space very well. We painted Anna's room, the youngest, a very nice color of white. She's ruined it by putting all kinds of pictures up and holes in the walls, but it really looks nice and very hard to paint. I don't even know what this is here. I don't understand. Why are we showing this? Like, what does that have to do with this? This doesn't make me want to live here. So, I mean, great. That went off the rails. One last one, $2.67 million, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, 8,000 square feet on a half-acre lot. Let me check the chat just to make sure. Okay. 40 pictures, totally good. 220 days on the market, 3-car garage. Property history, been listed since, not good. Really been listed since, you know, it's been listed a long time. What do they say about the details? Exclusive custom build Todd and Hughes French Country Chateau on a half-acre in a prestigious lakeside on Preston. Views from nearly every room, looking at 13 acres of HOA manicured park and creek full of abundant wildlife. Fish in the creek and lakes with your family. Few lots in West Plano possess these amazing views and privacy under $1 million. Updated in 2018 to 221 with homework room and his and her Zoom offices, kitchen, and master bath. 5 large bedrooms with marble ensuite and walk-in closets. Walk to top restaurants while feeling secure in your private wildlife sanctuary. Peace with real bird noises, not machine-made. Well, okay. I mean, that looks kind of pinched, the space there. I hate this green thing across here. Ugh. I mean, it's a nice house, right? It's got a nice pool. I mean, it's a big house too. 8,000 square feet. Now look at the footprint. There's the footprint. But I think the complaint would be, look, you've got another huge house next to you on both sides. Like, it doesn't even look right on the, I mean, it just looks like you're right next to your neighbor. And do I really want to spend $2.6 million to be next to my neighbor? I can answer that question. I don't. Okay. Let's keep going. First article, housing market update. Home buyers monthly payments up 25% to record high. So let's try and frame this in an appropriate way. The idea that you would own a house over renting is that your monthly payments should be lower. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, the idea is, which doesn't work. I just want to show you the flaw. Like, assume you can buy a house, okay, for $300,000. Well, with the housing market price increases, that $300,000 house is a $400,000 house now. And your payments also rise, even though interest rates are lower, because you can't buy the same thing for $300,000. And so how is that reflected? Well, it's reflected in the monthly payments. And so it's kind of like terrible. Redfin's paid attention to this, and they've got an article out. Housing market update, home buyers' monthly payments up 25% to record high. People who need to move now are pinched by rising mortgage rates, sky-high home prices, and rising rents. It's like if you want to buy a house, you have nowhere to go. The estimated monthly mortgage payment for a typical home for sale rose 25% year over year, or $388 to a record $1,931. That's based on the all-time high median asking price of $376,000 recorded during the first 4 weeks ended February 6th, and an average 30-year mortgage rate of 3.69%. Pending sales were down slightly from the same period in 2021, but 34% higher than they were 2 years earlier, weeks before the pandemic began. Meanwhile, the number of homes for sale was down 29% from a year earlier and down 50% from 2020. This constricted supply is depressing home sales, as mortgage purchase applications fell 10% during the week ending February 4th. That's true. It's like there's no ability to buy anything. As a result, the market's pace is accelerating. Over half of homes that found a buyer spent 2 weeks or less on the market, the highest rate on record for this time of year. It says movers are feeling a big pinch. There's nowhere for them to run from increasing housing costs now that mortgage rates are rising and inflation has spread to the rental market. Home buyers feel uneasy making offers on homes with such high asking prices, but there's no better alternative. Would-be home buyers who bowed out last year are kicking themselves, but delaying purchasing a home another year would be a costly mistake. My advice to buyers who are worried that they will have to overbid in order to win a home is to make sure that they can see themselves living in this home for at least 5 years. That's exactly what I say. And I am not a chief economist for Redfin. I don't make near the money that dude does. I expect home values to rise over that time horizon, even if there are short-term fluctuations in the housing market. Given how tough the housing market is for movers, it makes sense that so many home buyers are staying put, or homeowners. It's also contributing to the shortage of new listings and making the market even tougher for buyers. Yeah. So given how tough the housing market is for movers, that's right. I mean, I have on my board, I have 6 people that want to sell their house and buy another one. And yet that's been there for a year. We go looking, but there's nothing to buy. Everything's terrible. The price, at least. Unless otherwise noted, the data in this report covers the 4-week period ending February 6th. Redfin's housing market data goes back to 2012. But here's some data based on the homes. And I mean, I'm just, if it's not interesting, I'm not going to keep it up. Median home sale price is $353,750. Median asking price of newly listed homes increased 15% year over year to an all-time high of $376. Monthly mortgage payment, we talked about that. Pending home sales down, but sales were up 40% from the same period in 2020. New listings of homes for sale were down 10% from a year earlier. Compared to January 2020, new listings are down 12%. Active listings fell 29% year over year, dropping to an all-time low of 440,000. Listings were down 50% from the same period in 2020. Now, look, I had some nice people that I was helping buy a house, and I was like, well, this is stupid to try and front run the market. We should just look for something that is available to purchase. Well, in Bayless, okay, when I looked, there was no house that was more than 4 days on the market in the summer. I mean, usually you'll see houses 30 and 60 days on market. And that's when you start negotiating. These are just like terrible. 43% of homes that went under contract had an accepted offer with 1 week of hitting the market, up from 37% the same period a year ago. Now, I wonder if that has to do with the clear cooperation standards that NAR's put in place, where we don't really have these pocket listings like we used to. Now, if a pocket listing sells, I believe it goes in like that day. which would indicate that it was a pocket listing, and it goes inactive and then all of a sudden goes pending right at the same time. 41%, I'm guessing, and I'm not an expert in that. So 41% of homes sold above list price. On average, 2.8% of homes for sale each week had a price drop. Wow, that's weird. Up 0.3 percentage points from the same time in 21, but down 6 percentage points from 2020. The average sale to list price ratio was 100.2%. In other words, the average home sold for 0.2% above its asking price. But that's average, and I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. Mortgage purchase applications decreased, but you know what? The rates rose. Touring activity was 3 points behind 2021, 2 points behind 2020 relative to the first week of January. I don't really, you're going to have touring activity be down when there aren't as many homes on the market. I just thought that was interesting. There's all the charts. I don't really need to look at the charts. Then we're going to go, this is our last article for the day. Let me check the chat, just make sure nobody's going crazy in there. Okay. Here we go. Is face-to-face selling history. Now, this is a problematic thing for yours truly. And here's why. I can't, like on the phone, most of my life, I can't hear on the phone, right? I've never been able to hear. And it doesn't matter what phone. Sprint came out with like this HD phone for a while, and I could hear pretty well on those. But I don't think they use that technology anymore. Or if they do, I just don't have it. I don't know. But anyway, I've always been better off if I go and meet people because I can understand better what they're thinking. And the questions are based, like if we're at a house, I mean, the questions are based on the house. I mean, I'm right there. We can talk about it. Zoom selling would be a nightmare for me. I like to meet people face to face, and that's not going to change. I'm 44 years old, and you know, I don't care how the world works. I'm going to meet people face to face, and I'm going to talk to them, and they're going to talk to me, and we're going to go through it. Now, it doesn't mean every single interaction needs to be face to face. I mean, I'm happy with texting, calling, emailing, all the time. No issues. But in some cases, it's better to meet with someone. Here's sometimes where it'd be better to meet with someone. A listing appointment. I can't imagine not being there physically for a listing appointment. That just seems stupid to me. One of the times I like to meet with people, with buyers, is when they write their first contract to purchase. I like to be there in the room, and we go over each line that they want to go over so that they don't feel nervous or they don't feel scared when they write this offer, or any more than they would have to. Negotiation of contracts after that, sure, I have no issues with. You're probably not hiring me if you call me. I hate to say it, but I just, like with the hearing problems that I have on the phone, you're not gonna see me doing like phone sales, because it's just not gonna work. But if I meet with you face to face, I've got a chance, and it's not because I'm trying to hoodwink you or bamboozle you. It's just that I'm just better when I'm in front of somebody, and really, that's just the way I see it. So it says many companies in the past 2 years have realized the great economies by taking their salespeople off the roads and putting them on Zoom and webinars to do their selling. The big question is, can they do this without suffering sizable revenue declines? I don't know, maybe for other businesses. Most agree that industries of all stripes have learned how to meet, communicate, and sell via an electronic medium of some sort. Some have even realized substantial efficiencies in doing so, but many believe there's no substitute for pressing the flesh and looking in the eyes of one's prospect across the desk. My own opinion is I need to meet with people to work with them. In the past 3 years ago, I've been increasingly teaching the skills of becoming a trusted advisor. Almost all tactical aspects of this effort are better done in person rather than through electronic communications. For example, here are some of my recommendations for gaining trusted advisor status. Think about each of them and ask yourself, could that be better accomplished in person? Okay, so my premise, the author's premise and my premise are separate. My goal is not to become a trusted advisor or anything. My goal is just, answer your questions, and, whatever you need, let's see if we can, there's going to be issues with listing your house. There's going to be issues as you go to buy a house. Let's work through them, and let's get a working rapport going so that we don't get into a bad spot. I don't need to shift over to trusted advisor status. You'll see a lot of people in real estate. They want to be real estate counselors or real estate advisors, but because they're ashamed of being a real estate agent, and they'll say, "Oh no, well if I say real estate agent, that makes me a commodity." Well, you are a commodity. And the only thing that separates you from someone else is like people might actually like you. And like to me, can you show your level of expertise as a trusted advisor? Yes. Can you show your level of expertise as a regular real estate agent? Yes. And you probably should. But this is me, okay? I just want to point out the difference between the article, the writer, and myself. Sincerely make your prospect's problem your problem and brainstorm creative solutions. So to me, I do internalize other people's problems with selling their home. That's just part of it. Manage your prospect's stress by making the difficult easy and the complex simple. I do it a little differently in the sense that when we talk about things, we work things out. And I tell them it's okay to feel stress in certain situations. It's a stressful gig. Magnify the credibility of your promises with exceptional service and solid evidence. So one thing that I like to do, and it's not even sales related, it's just who I am, is if I say I'm going to do something one day, I try to do it. But I'll even explain to you a situation that I had this week. I have some new buyers and I wanted to send them over a fake copy of the contract, so that a real estate offer, so that they would know what they're signing and what they're filling out when they go to buy a house. This is what I do with all of my buyers. And it helps to talk about, it gives us a conversation about, how we're going to structure our offer and how we should look at homes and how that needs to be done. Now, that's what I do. Now, unfortunately, Monday night, when I had planned to do that, I had some terrible things occur to where I wasn't going to be able to get that done. And I was very disappointed by it, but I just knew what I needed to be doing that evening. And so I sent a text and said, look, I'm not going to get it today. I'll bring it to you first thing in the morning. And sure enough, yesterday morning, I put it together after my live stream and we went from there. That's what I kind of see. Even then, I did produce something and I did have to make changes, but at the same time, I did get it done. And I think that's important. So some things in business can simply be better achieved in person. The writer believes we can shorten sales cycles and gain customer loyalty more effective in person. I don't want to gain customer loyalty. I want to be loyal to my customers and I'd like them to be loyal to me, but I don't want to gain it or game it. And I don't need to shorten the sales cycle because look, if somebody wants to buy a house and the market's they're not ready for the market, then don't buy the house. Same thing with selling your house. If you're not ready to sell, don't sell. I don't want to move your timelines artificially. It says, one of my favorite questions to ask sales professionals is, tell me, how are your solutions and deliverables superior or different from those of your competitors? You'd be amazed to know that what percentage of salespeople's initial response is something like, well, so many hardly have a clue. I didn't even get the question. Tell me, how are your solutions and deliverables superior to or different from those of your competitors? I do try to differentiate myself from my competitors, but it's a very weird thing. So like if I have a flyer that I'll give out if I'm meeting somebody, but I don't have this whole thing set up because to me, certain properties don't require certain things. Like if it's a estate, they're not looking for the same things that someone's looking for with an estate. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, most of the time with an estate, they're not looking to fix things. They're not looking to market. They're not looking to stage the home in a way to get a lot of money. They just want to get out. They also don't care about the house. They have no love for it versus someone that has purchased a house and is now moving on. Those people feel really attached to the home. It says, this is disastrous in today's ultra competitive market. We need to be strong. We need to be working with the collective intellect of those in each of our companies to deliver or discover, formulate, and articulate the means and methods by which we are distinctive. Not to do so is representative of our making a decision to reside in a massive vat with everyone else. Sameness is not a good strategy for differentiation. I agree with that. But that's what I do anyway. I'm convinced that if the majority of our competitors are selling electronically, we have a differential advantage in selling face-to-face. The whole issue is this, okay? People have been scared by the virus, okay? They think everyone's carriers, okay? While I understand that, okay, there are people that are not going to want you in their house anymore, ever. So maybe right there is a tell that we're not going to get along. I mean, if they want to believe that someone can be on Zoom the whole time and they can even sell their house on Zoom, then that's, that's not the person that's not my client. That's not somebody I'm working with. Maybe it filters itself out. Most would agree that the quality of communication is compromised to some degree when we resort to electronic communications. I agree. Interpersonal relationships are best nurtured and advanced in person, as we appeal to more of the human senses and find it easier to formulate agreements. Many experts believe that people have more of a tendency to be themselves in person or when on a call of some type. More of a tendency to be themselves in person than when a call on the same type. I agree with that. Also, they're more likely to bring up peripheral sidebar points when in person. These elaborations can add measurably to the depth and authenticity of a personal relationship. I agree with that. Now, just to understand though, if all the young kids decide that they just want to talk on Zoom, you're going to be talking on Zoom because they'll freak out if they have to see you in person. Look at the people that write all the ignorant and disgusting things on the internet. You think those people would do that right in front of you? No, because they know that they would get punched right in the nose. In fairness to the topic at hand, I'll share one advantage to selling to Zoom. On occasion, we will ask a prospect about including someone else in a meeting only to get to their office and find that the other person was tied up and unable to attend. If it had been a scheduled Zoom call, the other person accepted an invitation to attend a week earlier, they're more likely to show up. They will presumably schedule things around formally agreed to a commitment. It's easier to be less committed to a verbal invitation. That's very interesting. It's very interesting. I myself, it's interesting in this sense. Like if I go on a listing call and it's a husband and wife and the husband's not there or the wife's not there, I don't have a good chance of selling that house, getting the listing. The same way with going out with a buyer. I mean, if the wife is with me and she decides she wants to buy the house and the husband's not there, I'm either showing the house again to the husband or something weird is happening. Now, don't take that to mean that I'm being sexist and that only women and men can make choices and that women can't make choices on their own. That's not what I was saying. And the only reason why I'm even bringing that up is because I don't want you to be confused by thinking that. I was just saying, if you could take two women, you could take two men, take whatever you want to. I'm saying if you have a partnership of any kind and you're only selling to one person, it's weird. But I want to advance the proposition that face-to-face selling is preferable. I also think it's easier to ask a commitment question and get a positive response in person than it is on Zoom. Consider your options carefully and go to market with every advantage you can give yourself. Good selling. What do you think? I think that meeting face-to-face is important. I would be happy to do it anytime. And I'm interested to know what you think. With that, I'm going to head out. Maybe it's in my phone's just making me sick with the amounts of ringing and texting and vibrating it's doing, and I just need to start getting into the day. I don't know what the live stream will be about, or the podcast will be about this afternoon. Should be something. Hope you're doing okay with the changes of the stream being on a different channel. Thank you for watching. Come to the chat, hang out with